Exploding head syndrome. I have that. We're going to be talking about that today, among a couple other injuries that I have from my time in the Marine Corps, going to Syria, Iraq, and Ukraine. And just like, I mean, the purpose of this video isn't like a dick measuring contest with other veterans. No. Literally, I was never injured in combat. I was never shot. I was never blown up. All my injuries are just from training, from just living the life as an infantryman in these different parts of the world. And I'm also not trying to be a victim, okay? I think a lot of people try and create a victim complex around their injuries, and I certainly used to do that when I was younger, and I was trying to explain myself to people, and they didn't understand, so it was just like, oh, I've got these injuries, and this is why. Look, I'm older now. That's not what I'm doing. I just want to go and share some injuries that probably your brother and sister or friend who's a veteran might have. Even civilians can have these. So let's get into it. I'm going to start with exploding head syndrome because that's probably the reason you clicked on this video. This is something I dealt with ever since I was a kid, and it's like a, oh god, how would I explain it? So when you're about to fall asleep, pretty much what it is, when you're about to fall asleep, you're right in that stage where you're about to go into unconsciousness, go into dreamland. You get woken up by a loud cymbal crash or a loud bang or somebody yelling at you, and it's obviously not real. Okay, this is all in your head. Doctors think, it's not well studied. People don't know exactly what it is. It's not common at all, obviously, but it is not like people have this. Okay, it's not super uncommon among the uncommon illnesses, and doctors still don't know exactly what it is. Maybe it's a part of schizophrenia. I've never seen small girls with no faces crawling on the ceiling. I've never heard voices in daytime. It's only in this part, but it is. Maybe it's like sleep paralysis. A lot of people have like sleep paralysis demons, and like people like sneak up on them when they're paralyzed. I've never had sleep paralysis. I don't know, but it's obviously it has to do with that. And the thing with exploding head syndrome is it'll happen infrequently or frequently. So I had it about 3 or 4 days ago, and I had it about 30 times in a row. So I would wake up and I'm like, oh, it's just exploding head syndrome, fall asleep, boom, boom. And it takes different forms. Sometimes it's loud explosions that wake you up. Sometimes it's somebody yelling at you, like a specific person. It used to be my dad, and that's how I got it when I was younger. I was like 3 years old, and I remember the exact thing. I had these chicken nuggets. I didn't want to eat them because I was kind of grossed out by them. And I put them in the fridge, and then I left them there. And my dad got mad at me because he's got mental problems of his own, and he started yelling at me, and that's how it started. I had exploding head syndrome ever since then, and it just sort of, sometimes it's drill instructor screaming at you, sometimes it's whatever I'm dealing with in my life, it'll take that form. It's really, really strange. It's not debilitating. It's not like PTSD. Maybe it is. Maybe it's trauma induced. I don't know, but it doesn't like make me really sad or mad or something. It's just kind of annoying, I try and fall asleep, but it'll happen 30 times in a row, and it's like I can't get any sleep at this point. I'm like, god dang it. I don't know anything that can stop it either. Sometimes I'll just turn it off, like I'll be able to finally get sleep, and then the next week I'll be fine, no exploding head syndrome, but then it'll happen, and then it'll happen the next day, and then I'll go a month without it, and then but it happens usually on a weekly basis. Kind of weird, I know. Maybe some of you guys, if you guys deal with that, please let me know in the comments. I'm actually curious, like how many people know what I'm even talking about. But that's exploding head syndrome, or EHS. You can look it up and find out for yourself. And then the next injury that I got is a hearing aid, right? So hearing damage in my left ear primarily. You guys know all the story if you've been following the channel for any amount of time. But yeah, I usually wear a hearing aid. Hearing damage. You shoot a lot in the Marine Corps, and I got it. I didn't have my ear pro in when we were training for the M27, and I lost it. And that's also when I got tinnitus. Tinnitus is ringing in your ears, and I know that a lot of people have it, but like I don't think from the friends, even the friends I have in the military, they don't have it the same way that I do. And I literally hear it right now. It's about that loud. It sounds like grasshoppers maybe. Back when I was a kid, I used to go to Tennessee, and it sounds like nighttime in Tennessee. It just like grasshoppers, and it sort of like fluctuates, but that makes it very difficult to go and hear people. So my hearing damage, it's pretty bad, but I can still hear in my right ear. But the problem is tinnitus, probably coming from my left ear. It's constant. I have never heard silence in the last 7 years. Never heard silence. It's always psst, even at nighttime. It's not debilitating. I can get around with it, but the problem is, like, even though it's just my left ear that's creating tinnitus, it's in my brain. My brain is sending signals to my ears saying, is there anything here? And my ear hairs are permanently like chopped in half or damaged. So it's constantly sending back a signal, yes, we hear noise. And unfortunately, it is in the same range as human voices. So the entire time people talk to me or in loud environments, I have to go and like hear people talking and stuff, but it's also in the middle of it, So it's very difficult for me to understand people in crowded environments or even just in general sometimes. Tinnitus sucks, and there's different forms of it. Mine is particularly bad, I think. It is what it is. It's not like I get sad about it. It's not like, oh, I can never hear silence. It's just like, God dang it. Why did my ear pro have to fall out? The next one is TBI. All right, so I've got a very mild TBI, but it is absolutely debilitating. This one is like the worst one. It's called BPPV. It's like one of the most common TBIs, but it is bad. It means benign post-proximal vertigo. I was playing flag football in the Marine Corps. Look, I was never injured in combat, so look, this is how I got my TBI, my traumatic brain injury. I ran into this guy, got knocked to the ground, and was just dizzy. For the next month, I was having like out-of-body experiences and vertigo, and it never left. Pretty much what happened when I had impacted that guy was that you have little crystalline objects and little formations in your vestibular inner ear. And when I knocked him, one of those, or a couple of them, got cut loose, and they now float around in the channel. The channel kind of looks like this. And if I turn my head to the left and right, and then I look down, or if I'm sleeping weird, this is what happens. If I sleep where my head is like back more than 90 degrees, I will end up waking up with vertigo, almost 100% certainty. And vertigo is dizziness. It's something where like I stand up and it's just like, whoa, and it'll last all day. Sometimes it's worse, sometimes it's better, and it depends on where those crystals are in your ear. There's something called the Epley maneuvers where I can sometimes, very rarely, about 20% of the time, I can cure it right then. And the weirdest thing about TBIs that people don't really take into account is that it impacts more than vertigo, okay? Vertigo, it's like, oh shoot. But when your brain knows that you have vertigo, when it's dizzy, it thinks a couple things. It thinks that maybe you're dehydrated, maybe you're hungry, maybe like something's wrong. Even though it's just like a crystal, it's like, oh. So your brain takes it as you are stressed. You are not having a good time. Maybe you're not getting food. Maybe it takes it as a emotional stress sort of thing. So what happens is a lot of times the night before I wake up and I have vertigo, so if I'm sleeping and I have my head back to bed, I wake up after having the worst nightmare. It's always nightmares too. Always nightmares. Very incredibly vivid, really bad nightmares. And I wake up from them and I'm like, why the hell did I have such a vivid dream? It's like crazy. You can't shake off that bad nightmare sometimes. And then I stand up to use the bathroom and I'm like, oh, I have vertigo. Oh, that explains it. Because your brain is stressed while you're sleeping. You don't even know this. You're not stressed. You're sleeping. But it takes that vertigo and it takes that like weird thing as you are stressed, and that's why you're having bad nightmares. TBIs are known, traumatic brain injuries are known to cause emotional damage. It's known to cause, in some patients, different variations of it. TBIs are all different, but it is known to cause personality changes. It's known to cause these things. And I wake up stressed. I wake up irritable, incredibly irritable sometimes, and I just know that I have vertigo, so I'm like, I just need to chill out. I wake up also very anxious. Like I deal with anxiety sometimes, but when you have vertigo, your body becomes like scared and it's stressed and you get anxious because of that. Because of those same chemicals that say you're stressed are anxious, anxiety. So I wake up with this concoction of chemicals just like telling me I am stressed and crazy. It's really, really bad, to be honest. I can't drive whenever that happens. Part of the reason I live in a van. Part of the reason that for a lot of my life decisions, a lot of them are based on my TBI. And it's a very mild one, but it impacts me a lot. And I hope that anybody who has BPPV, which can also happen to civilians, it happened to me during football, even though it was during physical training in the Marine Corps. Just football. It happens. So that's the TBI. So don't be like me. I'm not cool. I'm just crazy. Next one is pneumonia. Okay? Obviously, a lot of you guys know. When I got out of Ukraine, I had pneumonia, and that's part of the reason I left. Most of the reason. It doesn't really last anymore. It kind of hurts when I run. But I've sort of kicked that out by now, actually. So I created scar tissue in my lungs, but it's pretty much out now, which is why I'm feeling pretty good. But to get pneumonia out was crazy. I had to take steroids. They had to give me steroids because it wasn't treated well in Ukraine. So they gave me steroids for a week, which was incredibly powerful. Just kicked the pneumonia out of my system, except for the scar tissue, which takes time to heal. And it gave me, like, it made me super irritable and emotional, like crazy irritable and emotional right after Ukraine. Not fun to take steroids. And also it made me break out of my face. Like, I had acne like I've never seen ever since, like, middle school. It was crazy. So don't take steroids. I know these steroids are not the kind you're thinking of, even though I'm ripped. But no, these are just steroids to make you healthier. It takes a week. But anyway, pneumonia wasn't fun. The next one is stomach problems. My family has incredibly bad stomach problems for the most part. A lot of my family, but it also includes me now. So I never had any stomach problems until I went to Iraq. I think it has something to do with that. Every single week that I spent 13 months in Iraq, I had diarrhea. Like, it was bad. The water we took literally straight from a stream, pumped it from the stream, which has trash bags and like old blankets in it, like just like old everything. It was bad, bottles everywhere. That stream, literally a direct pipe from there, pumped into our water tank up top, which sometimes has dead birds and dead frogs, and it's just open to the elements. And then we take that water and we put it inside our like refrigerator thing, and once it's cold, we're like, hell yeah, we got cold water. That's our water. And I think a lot of the reason that I have stomach problems is probably because of some parasites that I have. I don't know. I haven't gotten it checked yet. I don't know for sure, but it could also be any of the stuff that I consumed in Iraq, which was just very bad, moldy meat, bread, lots of different stuff. Canned meat was, tuna, canned tuna, porcupine that we just killed, and we would eat the porcupine. I ate a lot of rancid shit out there, and I have very bad stomach problems. I can't. It's like every single day, either in the morning, at nighttime, or in the middle of the day, I get bloated like crazy. My stomach gets bloated, and I just have to like shit out. It's really, really bad. I've got stomach problems, and I don't know exactly from what, but I've dealt with them ever since Iraq. Maybe it's part of my family, I don't know, but I tend to believe it has to do with the crazy shit that I ingested in Iraq. I also have, the pneumonia. What was that caused from? That was caused probably from my time with tire fires and freaking burn pits in Iraq. We used to burn that shit. It used to flood into the cave where we're sleeping in the cave and all the dust and stuff. I think it's kind of obvious to everybody who saw any of my videos from Iraq, like why I have pneumonia. It's just you're breathing in all this shit day and long. And the next and last one I'll talk about is alcohol and nicotine dependence. And this is completely our fault. But in the military, you get stressed. And you have cigarettes right there to go and take the edge off. That's why I'm addicted. It's my own decision to take cigarettes, but I'm addicted to nicotine. When it comes to alcohol, obviously I picked up drinking after the Marine Corps because I was just so depressed and anxious about like, oh my God, I'm not a Marine anymore, blah, 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 and I just started drinking. Take that pain away. And I'm happy to announce I'm now 4 months sober, so I quit drinking. And it turns out all I needed to quit drinking was just a reason. Oh, it's because I want to be serious about my girlfriend. Okay, cool. That was enough reason. And the coolest part about being sober is you wake up not hungover. You wake up and you sort of like develop your personality. Like a lot of the times you drink because you don't want to work on your personality. You don't want to work on your emotions. You just want to like drink it away. And at least for me. And now I'm like developing as a person. I'm doing better on YouTube, posting more videos. I'm focusing on my family and friends and everything I need to. And I'm really happy to say about a week and a half ago, I had my first drink, and it was a glass of wine because it was the Marine Corps birthday. And I had one glass of wine, and this is always the scariest part, having your first drink after being sober. And I didn't have anything after that. I didn't feel any need to keep drinking. I didn't want a second glass. I didn't feel like I wanted to drink more the next day or the next week. I'm chilling. And that's the brilliant thing. If you go sober, you get off that alcohol reliance, and you're good to go. So, there's a lot of things that I picked up along the way in my military career. So you might be wondering, do I regret it? No. It sucks. There's a lot of regrets. Just take care of your body. Whenever you can, take care of your body. Don't take it for granted. I know that, I'm always going to wear ear pro in my right ear. My left ear I don't really care about anymore. It's already toast. But my right ear I will never, ever not wear ear pro if I'm anywhere near any loud noise. Just take your body seriously. Be safe out there and have fun, okay?